for you and me. OTB. OTB for you and me. OTB. Hi boys, hope you're doing well. I miss you and I hope that you're still being creative and playing and having fun, which I know you are. So I'm going to do this video in a few parts. That means you could do a little bit each day, or you can do it in one day and take a break. This is a spring painting that we're going to do, okay? So you should have your palette like this, 5 colors, okay? And I'll show you how to mix, okay? So we're going to start with the very first layer, okay? So the first layer, I take a brush, maybe a kind of bigger brush, and I take some blue and a little bit of white. Okay, so I come up with a nice blue color. I want a really light blue, so I think I'm going to take some extra white, make a really pretty light blue. Okay. What I'm going to do then is go about maybe the top of the way. It doesn't have to be perfect. Only just cover all, like the little top part of the painting blue. I know usually you guys tell me, is that right? Is that right? Whatever you're doing right now is right, because we're practicing and we're learning. Just trust yourself and say, I think this is good. And even if it's not perfect or it's not like mine exactly, it's good practice, right? So we got the top part, the blue part on, right? Okay, so now you're going to take this blue that you've got and you're going to put a bug size, like a little bug of red. See that tiny bit of red? And I'm going to move the red around, maybe a little more, until I get kind of like a purple. Ooh, do you see that purple? I could even add a little more colors. So I'm going to add a little more blue and a little more red. I'm going to get a nice purple in there. And you can even add a little white to lighten your purple. So what you can do is you can always pause the video when you need time to mix. Or I'll just stop right now and give you a little time to make that purple, which is a little red, a little blue, and a little white. And there is no right or wrong purple. Whatever you feel is good. So what I'm going to do now, you could either switch to another brush or use your same brush. I think I'm going to go for a medium-sized brush. And I'm going to, it's up to you, you can use the same one. I'm going to take some of that purple, okay? And I'm going to start right here above the blue. Do you see that? It's a little above the blue. See that little line? And then I'm going to put another little line on the corner right above the blue. So there's some blue below it. Do you see that? And then I'm going to go like an airplane taking off to the side. I'm going to shake my hand. And I'm going to do one line that goes up like that, not all the way. And one that comes down like that. 2 big bumps. Like that. Okay. Then I'm going to color. Take either my bigger brush or my medium brush. And I'm going to color all that purple downward. See how I go up to the line? And then I push downward, okay? And I don't have to go all the way down, I just kind of go up to like right there. And I just go away across and I add some purple to these mountains here. You guys are probably pretty good at mountains since you've been painting a lot of mountains with me. See, and remember the mountains don't go straight up and down, they go at an angle. So you're kind of going to the side, down to the side, up to the side and down, like an airplane taking off. An airplane doesn't take off like this. That's more like a rocket. Instead, you're going like an airplane that gradually goes like that. Not like a rocket. So go ahead and get that purple. It's okay if you got mixes of purple. It's probably actually good if you get a little mix of purple. All right. I'm even going to take some white and add a little bit of white on the top. Okay. So see, I have some white on the top. It's a fast version, meaning I'm not Just adding a little bit of white in there, meaning it's not super detailed. It's kind of an expressive version of a painting. So you can see that little bit of white I added on the top, okay? Alrighty, so this last part will be step 1, okay? After you do those mountains, all you have to do, actually, let's make this step. So this is step 1. You can let it dry, you can sit, walk away from it, and come back a little later or a different day. Alrighty, here's step 2. So what I'm going to do now for step 2 is I'm going to take some blue. So I'm going to take a little bit of blue and a little white. So I get a blue that I really like. I can even add the tiniest, not a lot, like a bug size of black if I want like a bluish gray. Totally up to you, or I could just take straight blue right from my blue paint. And here's what I'm gonna do for this part. I'm just gonna go down a bunch of little lines, but cover all the white. See all the lines going down all the way across, right under the mountains, okay? All the way across, they're tall trees, swaying in the wind. Wow. And they're lines that just go down like that. A bunch of lines, like popsicle sticks standing right next to each other. Okay? And they're short lines, they're not too long. I'm not going whoosh, I'm doing short lines. You don't have to do it as fast as me too. You can always pause the video to slow it down. Okay. Once you get this one, here's the next part. I take a little bit of yellow and I mix it in with that blue to get a green. You should have a nice green. I'm gonna go for an even lighter green. Oh my goodness. A really yellow green, okay? And now I repeat that step. I go in and I do lots of lines. And remember, I keep grabbing more paint. I don't wanna run out of paint. As soon as I start running out, grab more paint. And you want to cover all that white, okay? So now I'm going into the blue. I'm not going below the blue, I'm going in the blue. So I'm starting my streaks inside the blue. So I'm going right there, see, inside the blue and pulling down. So it should be in front of the blue. Okay, lines that go all the way across. And remember, this painting might not look exactly like the ones when I'm sitting right next to you, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. This is how we practice. This is a practice painting, okay?
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Great, so after you do that one, you're gonna take a little pure yellow and you're gonna add a little bit of yellow through all the different parts here. You're just gonna add yellow through your green, and taking some more nice thick yellow and add it through the green. See? Awesome. So that would be step 2. I'm gonna make purple, which is again is red and blue and maybe a little white if I want, red, white, and blue. I mix it until I get my purple. All right, remember there's no right or wrong purple. Go ahead and you can pause here if you need some time to make purple. Alrighty, so once you made your purple, you go ahead and you're gonna do the same step. I go into the green really, but I have to be really thick. And then I add a line of purple, bunch of lines, like popsicle sticks, right? It's going into the green and stepping down, and you want to keep getting paint. You don't want to run out, because the thicker my purple is, the less funny it'll look being mixed into the green. So I'm going really thick. Let's see that thick paint. Alrighty guys, here's our next step. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make a few different greens. So I'm gonna put some yellow in 3 different parts of my plate here and maybe here, right? And I'm gonna put a little bit of blue in one to make a little green here. Now I'm gonna put some blue and a lot of white in one to make a really light color. And maybe one that just has a little bit of each, so it's like kind of in the middle. And in this dark one, I'm gonna add a little bug of black. So you can make the 3 different greens. So this one's black, blue, and yellow. This one's yellow, blue, and white. And this one's just yellow and blue. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to mix them, whichever types of greens you want. All right, once you've got those greens, you're gonna take them, and you can start with any one you want. Maybe the dark one might be good. And I'm gonna go in, and I'm gonna do kind of like a V like that, see? V. And I'm gonna do that all the way up. Okay, so sorry, making some more. I'm gonna do that all the way up, almost like V's, but as they go up, the V's get skinny, tiny V. And when it gets to the top, it's a point, okay? So V, 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 but look at the V's get smaller. They get so small. So big V, a little smaller, a little smaller, a little smaller, a little smaller, and a dotty point. Now in between those V's, I'm gonna do a couple scribbles in between those V's to fill out my little tree now that I've got. What I'm gonna do with all my other greens is I'm gonna add a little bit of the other greens throughout my tree. So I've got this brighter green, I'm kind of dabbing, just dabbing like a little stamp, dotting it in there. And maybe have some of this really light sage green or this white green. I'm gonna add a little of that. And I'm even gonna add a little yellow to some of these. And now I've got this full pine tree right there. See that? Again, you can move a little slower than I am. All right, you could always pause it. So it started with those V's, and then I just dotted in all my green colors. So V's that got smaller to the top, and then I had a point up there. Okay, and you could do as many trees as you'd like. We're gonna just have one right there. You could do another here. You know what, maybe I'll add a small one over here. So again, a bigger V. Okay, a little bit smaller. You could do a couple of them. A little smaller, smaller. And a point like that. Okay, now I'm gonna do the same thing where I'm gonna put some dots in between those V's. Different colors of green, maybe some yellow. And I'm just doing this kind of dots that are gonna be end up being shaped like a pine tree. So I've got a second one there. See that? Awesome. So go ahead, and that would be your next step. That would be the end of this step. You can let that dry. You can say, hey, I'm still going. Go on to the next step. Or you can try it again tomorrow. Great job, guys. All right, guys. Well, here is what I believe will be either our final step or actually the step right before the final step. So I'm going to take a big dollop of yellow, right? And I'm going to add just a little bit of blue, in there. And so I've got this really bright green. And actually it's gonna be mostly yellow. And I'm even gonna add the tiniest little, maybe ant size of red or ladybug size. And that'll give it kind of like a little bit of an orangish color. It's kind of like a lime green with a little bit of orange. Okay. You can even do all yellow if you're like, I'm not into that color. Go ahead and do all yellow if you want, okay? So I can even do that. Okay, so I'm gonna take this bright color and I'm actually gonna go, sorry about that. I'm actually gonna go right here in front of these colors and I'm gonna dab a little line with really thick paint, especially if I'm kind of continuing. If you guys start fresh, you don't have to use too thick. And I'm gonna go over all my purple here, okay? This is kind of a really neat bush. You see that? Goes above, covers any bit of white, goes into the purple, all the way up to the top. So that wavy line. And all I'm gonna do is cover, go to right about here. It's okay if I got other colors in there. As you can see, I've got all kinds of colors mixed in. Purple, doesn't really matter. And I'm gonna cover that till right about here. I'm gonna leave a little stripe at the end, a stripe of white. So again, I'm dabbing in the colors here. You can use all yellow. I turned mine into kind of like a different green. I'm gonna grab more yellow on top. However you wanna do it, right? So then you've got that right there. Then I'm gonna make a green, which is like more of like a bluish green. So I'm gonna add some blue to this. And see, now I've got this kind of like bluish green. So take some time to make that bluish green. Which is blue and yellow. Once you make that color, you're gonna dab the rest down here. Nice and thick. And it's okay if it blends up into, you actually want it to blend up into this kind of gold part here. Okay, so there's so many layers of really cool colors. And so go ahead and cover that all up with your bluish green. All that white. You may be using a paper or a canvas. Doesn't matter what you use, still the same steps. Awesome, now that you've got that whole part covered up, we're gonna go to our very last final step. I am so excited to see what you guys created. If you guys worked hard and put your all into it, I'm gonna add some points to you, to your stuff, okay? Maybe some extra points because I know that this is a little harder to do this way, but if you put all of your all into it, I know that you can do it, okay? And remember, you can try once, and if it doesn't come out exactly as you'd like, watch the video again, try again. Take your time, pause as much as you need to, not just for fun to pause whenever you feel like it to be silly, but pause when you feel like, oh boy, I'm getting tired. Pause and then come back to it. The longer you take on this painting, you could take a whole week on this painting, the better it'll probably come out. So what I'm doing here is I actually mix this color, which is just a little bit of white, a little bit of red. I know my palette's a little messy. And I'm making a pink, okay? So kind of like a dark pink, okay? Dark pink meaning kind of a little more red. And I'm gonna go in, make a lot of that color, okay? So I'm gonna give you some time. You could pause here if you need to make like a darkish red, kind of like this, right here, where my paintbrush is, okay? Maybe a little more red. So darkish pink, I mean. Okay, and I'm gonna go on super thick, and I am gonna add flowers that kind of go up in a little tower like this, really thick. See? So I'm gonna have flowers that go up like this, and I'm gonna keep going over here. They're little, I'm just using them kind of like a stamp. Your paintbrush is just putting on thick dots that go up. They start from the bottom, and they go way up into the gold, and maybe even past the gold, up into the trees a little. They can be up here, Okay, so I'm gonna do a couple pink ones, maybe 3 pink towers right here. Towers of flowers. So I'm doing some light, bright, nice bright pink ones. Now I'm gonna go in with some purple. So I have that pink already there. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of blue with it. And I'm gonna come up with a nice purple that I feel is a good purple for me, maybe a bluish purple. So I'm gonna add a little extra blue because I want my blue coming through. It's up to you though. And so I'm gonna do the same thing, towers, a tower of this bluish purple all the way up here. Not into the mountains or anything, but maybe just a little past the gold, okay? So go ahead and keep adding those colors in. And that's gonna be in between your pink. So see how I got the purple dots just towering, these nice, pretty flowers here. Like that. And right here too. Up like this. And more purple. So you're just gonna fill that in with towers of flowers, okay? Up here. Awesome. And you can go for as long as you'd like, or you could stop there. You can even add maybe a little bit of blue flowers up like this. And I'm literally just filling in with dots that are going up in towers like that. There's a certain kind of flower that sticks up like that. See? And now you can see the finished version. See that? All those layers. You see how the flowers go up like little dots in a little tower, like kind of like little trees. Awesome. I can't wait to see what you guys create. Remember, the more you take your time, the better it comes out. Alrighty, I'll see you guys soon. Hope you enjoyed your video.